Welcome to Conversations in Between the Realms, a podcast where the mystical meets the everyday. Join Amanda Nova and Beth Renov each week as we dive into the profound journey of awakening, sharing our experiences, insights, and the lessons that guide us toward our divine purpose. Together, we awaken and guide our souls and others, exploring the magic of living in the 3D while staying connected to the higher realms, embracing the challenges, and celebrating the growth. You've been guided here for a reason. Trust in the journey and let the unfolding begin.
Hello, welcome back to Conversations in Between the Realms. I'm Amanda Nova and I'm here with Beth Renov. And today we're going to be talking about some really funky metaphysical things. I think we're going to just get into some really woo-woo fun stuff and dig right in. So we're in a really crazy, we're always in a crazy time, but it's like Mercury retrograde to the extreme. It took us 10 minutes to get on. I mean, how are you doing? How are your feet?
Oh my God, so much better today. I don't know, yesterday, like my heel was like killing and I've never had like heel pain.
Yeah.
And it was just so weird. And I like texted you, I'm like, my heel hurts.
Yeah.
Like it's not something I've like ever had. Like, yeah, I have like the Bartonella feet where it's like plantar fasciitis, like but more in like the middle. And it felt like, and what's interesting is it was only on the left side of my body, which very feminine. And I feel like I'm trying to like control everything. And I feel like it's like go into flow. And I'm just like,
just take a step. Just take a step.
Right.
Like that's literally what's telling you. And it was obviously so interesting because I was also having like feet and leg issues, which I like don't really have, but I was feeling like a lot of cramping in my legs, a lot of restlessness in my legs. And I was wondering if like all of the energy upticks, all the stuff that's been going on, like on the Schumann resonance, there was a lot of blasts of energy. There was a major geomagnetic storm that happened this week, which is really just like solar flares, as they call them, which is like bursts of flares coming from the sun hitting the earth. And that's just like a whole bunch of energy hitting us. So if we're thinking about it, right, like in a just like a rational way, right, like all this energy is surging on the earth. So then like for us, we're taking in a lot of energy at our feet, you know? So I don't know if it's like just receiving the energy through the bottom half of our bodies. And that's why we're feeling that. Like I don't know. That's what came through for me yesterday.
Yeah. I also like feel like it's a grounding in some sort and it's like tethering us. I don't know. I've had this like crazy shift that has come out of nowhere. I'm sure it hasn't come out of nowhere, but it feels like it came out of nowhere. And I've just changed so many things. And I feel like the most grounded I've felt in a really long time. So I'm kind of not surprised, like my feet hurt. And I had the leg cramping too. It felt like I had like a flu or something. It was, I didn't feel any other like symptoms except for the pain. But it feels like something shifting and the energy is integrated. And like I decided like one day I'm like, I don't want to smoke pot or take gummies anymore. I want to eat clean. Like it just like that.
Yeah.
And I changed everything. And I have had zero problem sticking to it. Where in the past it would be a struggle. And it just feels like this shift happened and like an up leveling, which I like was in my channeled message this week, but I didn't realize like that's really what's going on with me too. Is like, and I just see other people. There's just this shift that's happened, and maybe nothing looks different, but everything feels completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you feel so different, I think, also within the physical body. And I think that's what's been happening is like there's these massive, massive energetic shifts. I think that there has been a period of time where there has been this disconnect between the light body, the energetic body, and the physical body, which like I always call, right, like the energetic jet lag. I think that's been happening for a really long time. And that causes a lot of pain. It causes a lot of, discord. And it really just is really frustrating. And so like, to me, that's like your body is catching up to your energetic
Yeah.
body and coming together. And now you're feeling that like, okay, I'm more aligned. Like that's literally what alignment is. That's what you're
Right.
trying to achieve, is trying to get them to
Right.
be the same vibration and the same frequency. Like that's
Right.
the goal, is to get them to be the same. So, I mean, that's incredible. That's literally what people need to be
Yeah.
doing.
Totally. And and it's and just for everybody out there, it's the little shifts you make each day. And then all of a sudden, one day you just notice. So it's not going
Mhm.
to be this big decision. It's just the little ways you challenge yourself. And it's like, okay, how can I look at this differently? How can I take care of myself today, and it's the little things. And we've both been feeling really frustrated the past few months of like, what is going on? And not that anything has changed with work, but like, or,
Yeah.
but something feels completely different where
Mhm.
I'm just so like open to receiving whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw something yesterday that was so interesting. Like it was this older woman and she was talking about affirmations, and very similar to how
Mm-hmm.
we've spoken about it. And like how we've talked about like how sometimes you feel like it's lying to yourself. And
Right.
she was talking about like the way to shift that is to not say to yourself, oh, I have millions of dollars in the bank, because it does feel like a lie, but instead to ask questions. And so instead to say like, how wonderful would it be if I had money coming in all the time? And then it actually challenges your brain to look for those things. And I thought, like,
Yeah.
as you were saying, like these little things that make shifts, like changing, instead of like forcing yourself to like do affirmations all the time, be like, why are these not working? Why does this feel like a lie? Like making a little shift to be like, oh, like, what if I just changed it to be like, what if things could be really great? Like, what if things worked out, is like a really, good one to kind of shift to, instead of like, nothing works
Right.
out for me, or nothing like, and I think that like, I thought that was really fascinating and like really a really cool, just like quick switch.
Yeah. And actually I saw, and I think I posted something from it, this whole post on like 3D, 4D, 5D, and how everything kind of exists at once. And I was like, I
Hmm.
don't really like, I get the concept, but I don't really get it. And it's all about, yes, tuning in, dialing in. But I was like, how do people do that? How can we explain that to people?
Hmm.
And how they explained it was when you are able to think in a different way, and exactly like what you're saying is like, what if it did happen? What if I am kind to myself? Like,
Hmm.
what if I can really picture, and I think a lot of it is visualization, is like
Hmm.
picture myself doing it, and really resonate with that feeling. And when you start to like just shift your thinking, that is getting into the 4D, into the 5D.
Right.
It's the shift in thinking that creates your reality, because it's all about perception. If
Right.
you're coming from a perception that everything's shit, everything's gonna be shit. But
Right.
when you look at the world and say, hey, there are good things, like we were talking about this with you, it's like you had all these good things. And yes, it was like a day for you. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
been longer than a day. But, you had a really tough day where it's just like I'm looking at everything and I'm only looking at the lack. But you had
Right.
told me like 5 things that were amazing that happened to you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, but like focus on the good. Right. And it's just about our perception. And that is exactly what dialing in and tuning in
Hmm.
is shifting your perception of
Right.
the world, because then it becomes that other world. Like
Right.
I'm getting tingles all over because I finally got it. Like I was
Yeah.
doing it, but I didn't understand what I was doing.
Right.
And I think when we say go into the 5D, well, how the hell do I do that?
Right.
And it's like it's a shift in perception. And I
It
loved
is.
that. And it just resonated so well with me.
It is. It is. It's a complete and total shift. And I think, to your point, the shift, then it's like, first it's the mind, then it's the energy, then it's the body. The body comes last. And that's why people always say too, like with weight loss, with like, it's always the body is the slowest. The body is the slowest
Mhm.
to catch on to everything. And that's what you will notice last. And then that becomes really frustrating. Also, it's like the reality is the slowest. So like those things have to happen first, and then it starts to show up in your reality. But if you can like stick to it and you can be like, okay, like I believe that this is going to happen before, you're like, okay, I decided already it's not going to happen, right? Like before you like take it
Right.
out of the like, take it your order back
Running.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's really what it is, and it's like that waiting and that faith. And I think for me, like I think like I just my brain really got shaken up with the seizure, and that's like a lot of what we were talking about
Mhm.
on a Wednesday when we were chatting. And like I feel like, things opened up in my brain in an energetic way, in a physical way, and that can be so overwhelming. And it almost feels like to me like why so many people that are intuitive or have spiritual awakenings or kundalini awakenings or whatever you want to call it, go through dark nights of the soul, go through depression, because it's almost like I'm just like also realizing this now too. It's like the more you have access to that information, like it's like you go through a depression and you really like do. And
Mhm.
I've been in that dark night of the soul a little bit again, and I didn't realize but I've been like working through it. Like I've been highly functioning dark night of the soul, if that makes sense.
Right. Yes. And I think you've had depressions in the past where it didn't feel recognizable because it didn't look the same. You
Mhm.
weren't in bed, you weren't hysterically crying every day, and it was like very high functioning
Yeah.
depression. But it felt like something was missing.
Mhm.
And I think that's really hard for people. And I know I've experienced it is like depression's not going to look the same every
Yeah.
time, but I feel like it's an energy. It is something energetic, and I
Yeah.
don't know exactly what it is, but it is an energetic shift as well. And I think once you acknowledge it, it actually helps you get through that
Right. Right. It like starts to
what is it?
release the
Yeah.
dark night of the soul. Like it starts to release
Oh,
some
yeah.
of the pressure there. And I think also like it's been so much easier to pinpoint it on 3D things in the past, like to be like, I'm
Yes.
depressed because I have a chronic illness. I'm depressed because I hate my job. It's a lot harder
Right.
when you're like, I don't know why I feel this way. I'm doing work that is meaningful and purposeful that I really like. I have a family that loves me. I'm in a new house that I like, and you don't feel right. And then like you're like,
Right.
that's a lot harder because you're like, why don't I feel right? Like what's going on? And then you
Right.
kind of have that then inner battle where you're like, well, you should feel good, what's wrong with you? And then you feel worse, and then like we do like what you refer to as like my shame spiral, because then I beat myself up about it and then
Right.
I feel worse. Like, and it's like this
Right.
whole thing. And I really think a lot of people, and I'm not going to just like single out like moms, but I think a lot of moms go through this because you kind of feel like I'm supposed to feel blessed that I have children, but it's also really fucking hard and you're kind of like overwhelmed. But
Right.
I just think a lot of people are go through this where they're like, my life is really great and I am really like content
Right.
with all of that, but I don't feel right. And what the fuck is going
Right.
on?
Right. Because, well, that's like societal, norms on you that you should be like so happy. Like your
Yeah.
purpose is to be a mom,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but I think what you were talking about before is that something opened up in your brain.
Yeah.
And really, what you're talking about is your cognitive rigidity was smashed. So
Mhm.
we perceive the world in a very specific way. So you have new information come in,
Yeah.
it's cognitive dissonance. Your brain is like, what do I do with this? I
Yeah.
didn't ask for this information. I
Yeah.
didn't ask to see the world in a different way. I didn't ask for a seizure. And now you have to change everything. But you're inside, there's like this battle of like, I want to stay comfortable.
Yeah.
And you go through a depression because you have to basically reorganize all your internal workings.
Yeah.
And that is depressing because it's totally new and unfamiliar, and you have to have a huge acceptance of what reality is and that it looks nothing like it did before.
Right, right. Yeah. And like, I don't think people like realize, like, like, I mean, those of you who have been listening, like, you witnessed a major, major event, like with me channeling Joshua and all of these things. Like, I didn't ask for that to happen. I struggled with that. Like, I mean, I had like some serious like psychosis of like, am I fucking crazy? Like, am I losing my mind with this? Like, did I have a seizure and now I'm going insane? I'm talking to like the Light Council and all this stuff. And I feel now a lot more grounded in it. I'm very grounded in the work that I do. Like I kind of had this conversation with somebody yesterday. I was like, I feel a lot more grounded in it. Like I know that this is real because I've seen the results. Like you've seen the results. Like I think both of us feel a lot more grounded in what we do now, which is also a shift versus like
Yeah.
maybe a couple years ago where like it was more scary and like it was like, oh, I don't know if I should talk about this. Now I'm like, no, I've seen the results. This shit works. Like I know I'm very grounded in like exactly what it is that I believe in and what I do. But that did shake it up because it opened up my channeling in a different way. It opened up what I was able to do, what I was able to see. And that was overwhelming to me because yeah, I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for it 2 years ago and I didn't ask for it now. And I then had to parse all of that together. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this now? You know, like it seems like there's a bigger purpose with this. And now I have to figure that out on top of everything else that's going on. Like, you're like, okay, great. Now what do I do?
Right. And, I think it is similar to giving birth and becoming a mom is like you're shifting identities, and there is not a roadmap. There is not a pamphlet telling you step by step how to do that. You have to figure it out on your own. And it's just like this new journey.
Yeah.
And that can be really overwhelming and really mess up like everything because your world is completely turned upside down and you just don't know, well, was everything I thought and was my entire life like real? Like, why,
Yeah. Like, why is this happening? It's so something that's really fascinating. And so we've talked about my relationship, and I haven't spoken about this in a long time. We haven't talked about this in a long time. My relationship to the deity, the goddess Inanna, who is also known as Ishtar, and my relationship to her. And I think it's been probably about 7 or 8 months since the seizure. So one of the things I had said to you yesterday that popped into my mind was like, this has felt like an initiation period, and it has felt very much like Inanna's descent into the underworld. Like there is this like myth story where she goes to actually get her lover in the her lover or her sister. I'm not 100%, but she goes into the descends into the underworld, and there's 7 things that she needs to go through in order to come out on the other side. So I actually had my friend ChatGPT put it into regular words for me, like into like I was like, what if you were putting it into today's language, what would this initiation look like? And I haven't shared it with you yet, but I wanted to share it with you and I wanted to see what you thought. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. So the first one is the crown. It's the surrender of the teacher identity, remembering that you're also the student of your own body's medicine. Okay, that's 1. 2 is communication and voice, releasing the need to explain or contextualize the mystical, allowing energy to speak through silence and sensation. Okay. 3 is heart armor, cracking open the heart walls built from lifetimes of holding collective pain, learning that your love is your protection, not your defense. Okay. 4 is action doing, being forced into stillness, learning that rest is recalibration and that power can flow without performance. 5 is will and direction, losing your sense of control so your body could realign to divine will, not a human timeline. 6 is movement and grounding, feeling unrooted as if Earth had to rewire your grounding, your grid. And then 7 is your whole identity and image, the final surrender, who you are without the roles of and your brand, without the roles of the healer. You stand naked before the void and you accept your true essence. I have chills.
Wow.
I have
Me
chills.
too, all over. So what's interesting, I feel like you went in it in reverse. Maybe not the nakedness and like the full, but everything else, because I literally said to you, there's like clouds over your crown. Like, and everything you were saying was like, I think from the time you like gave birth to Arya, like that has happened in reverse because
Yeah.
everything you just said, I'm like, that happened after,
Yeah.
that happened before,
Yeah.
and that is so wild. And that is like dead on. What
Yeah.
was the first one again?
The first one was the crown. So that was the surrender of the teacher identity, which I feel like I did. I think you're right. Like it almost feels like all of this was happening. And then it feels like the
Yeah.
unrooted like control of your body. It feels like this, like losing sense of
The
control of your
seizure.
body is the seizure. That's 5. So that's losing
Yes.
control of your body. So you could realign to divine will and not your human timeline. That's the seizure. And then feeling
Yeah.
unrooted is like the period of time I just been going through. That's 6. And then 7 is this final surrender. Like, and I feel like that's like what's happening now. And like, it's so fascinating because you told me there was a cloud, but you also were telling me that like, you felt like I was like meeting with this like other council that wasn't the light council too.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, that's so and divine will, like I feel like when I met with them I was tasked with something.
Yeah. You were. And, they were just showing me you had this like initiation. Like what you're going through is the initiation, right? But something like was said, there was this meeting. It almost feels like a homecoming, and like you coming before these people or this person. It's so big that it's not saying if it's separate, like separate entities, or just this one really
Mhm.
intense energy. But they're like, it's almost like you're like this knight, like kneeling before them, and they're like knighting you.
Yeah.
And that's the initiation. And they're like, here's your mission, and you're going to have to go through. It's almost like this like fairy tale story, and you are going to have to go through this dark soul of the night, right? Which is like this dark forest, and meet all these like demons, right? To get to where you need to be, and it really like there is something about that being and something that was said that you need to remember. And I said you have to go get hypnosis or something because, and you said before we even started, I think I know who it is,
Yeah.
but I think you need to know what
Yeah.
happened, because
Yeah.
there's something really pivotal that happened, and they're just showing me like, I don't see you on this bed, but I see you like lying almost like elevated, like
Mhm.
like floating almost. And they did something with your brain,
Yeah.
right? And maybe that's where it was opened, but it wasn't scary. It's actually like feels really peaceful inside, but the scary part is actually being here. And I think
Mhm.
that's what the integration is how do I remember? I need this remembering
Yeah.
and integrate that into what I do, because it is this energy. And I think I said to you also, I feel like they activated a part of your brain
Mhm.
that most people do not have activated.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure there are other people who've had a similar experience. Maybe it wasn't a seizure, but it was something. And you have a part of your brain activated that I think that's also what's causing you
Yeah.
depression and feeling just like really out of your body.
Yeah.
And when you're ready, it's kind of going to come flooding in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've been ready to hear it like the past however many months. Like I don't think that I have been ready to take it. But I met with a girlfriend yesterday and she was talking about a book actually, and she said something and I was like, oh my God, I was like, that's who it was. She said the Empiric Council, and I was like,
I
that's
never heard of
who
it.
it was. They I I just knew it. I don't really know
Huh?
too much about them, but I just like as she said it, I was like, that's who it was. Like I was
That's
like,
it.
I know it. I was like, that's who it is. And I looked them up and like I was like trying to figure out the differentiation between the Light Council and the Empiric Council. And like there is a thing, like they are a thing. And the difference is like the Light Council is like guidance, support, and messages, whereas like the empiric council is more like action. They're like more like the architects of everything that's going on. They're the more of the ones who are like going to give you a mission, but they are like the Arcturians, the Palladians, like they are like also like a group of different celestial beings. And so I didn't know anything about it. I just looked it up when I got home. I just like was like, oh, this is like so fascinating. And it just felt like really aligned. And I mean, I think that like the Imperial Council is a thing like in different movies, like Star Wars. I don't really know, guys. I'm not like really like a Trekkie or anything, but like it is the Empiric Council is a thing, and it's like a galactic thing. I don't know. How does that feel to you?
Yeah. I'm not really getting. Okay. When you were talking, Josephine. Who's Josephine?
Josephine, my family
Yeah.
friend that passed away.
Yeah. Is she who? When did she pass?
Like a month ago, or like a month and a half ago.
She's connected to this in some way. Who was she? Like how describe her, because she's either coming through with a message or she's part of this.
She was a family friend for a really, really long time that I grew up with. And she then became my client. I was very, very close with her. And she just recently passed away. And it was like very hard on me. She was literally like an angel on earth. And she was like very like New York, like spunky, like tiny little like woman. But I don't know if she was like into this stuff. But like not here on earth at least.
Well, she's an angel on earth. Like she doesn't have to be. There's something with baking. Did she like bake, or was her name Baker, or did she have a baker?
No.
There's something like weird coming up with like baking.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Is someone named Baker? Like, I don't know if it's a name or like a physical thing.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I did nutrition for her, so maybe she's just referring to like the food and like the stuff. I don't know. Their last name wasn't Baker.
She keeps telling I don't know.
She have a message?
She's here. She can't. Okay, so I don't know what, but I said Josephine came in when you were saying that, and then Baker. Like I don't know what it is, but I don't know if she's telling you like the food element of like what you're doing. Let me see. No, she's talking about physically baking. She keeps showing me like stirring the pot. Or maybe was she like kind of like a stir the pot kind of
not
person?
really. No, but she was like very into like my recipes and stuff. So maybe that's what she's talking about. Because she had my cookbook, and I literally worked with her on nutrition for her cancer. Like I was a really big part of her cancer treatment and helped her really deeply with that. So I don't know if that's related to, but yeah, you guys are getting
like coming
alive.
through. Oh. Yeah, she's coming through. I don't know why she's coming through, but it has something to do with this imperial. What is it called? Imperial Council?
Empiric Council.
Empiric.
Yeah.
Okay. Look up Empiric Council.
Okay, I have it. Wait, I pulled it up. So I looked it up, and it says the Empiric Council is an interdimensional governing body of extremely ancient, high-frequency beings who oversee the universal laws, timeline, and evolutionary pathways across multiple star systems. They are not a common council that most people channel. They tend to make contact when people are working at a high level with timeline repair, frequency, and planetary elevation. So I think that's really interesting. So
maybe because she's up there now, I don't know. It's not coming in super strong, but I know she's here, and
well, maybe it's to tell me that
something
that's
you just,
right. I don't know. I mean, doesn't that
yeah,
sound like, I mean, I don't know. When I read that, I was like, yeah, yep,
yeah.
accurate.
Maybe it's to tell you. I think she's part of it, to be honest, and she has some connection to it that I know, but it's something with like your cooking. I don't know if she's just like connecting with you to say that was a big part of my life. Like, I don't know. Sometimes people come in and they want to like interrupt, but
Yeah.
this doesn't feel that way. This
Yeah.
feels like she has a connection to it.
That's so interesting.
But like it like sent like a shock through me when
Yeah.
I wonder if there's, you know what, there has to be.
Did she, what was her
Josephine.
message?
Hang on.
Let's see. I'm going to ask if there's a relation with the Empiric Council and food or nutrition. Bear with us, guys. You're getting live footage of what a session with Beth looks like.
Right. It's like it'll unlock. There was something you said before and it kind of clicked and then it like kind of went away. But something about the elevation. Read the empiric thing again.
Okay. They're an interdimensional governing body of extremely ancient, extremely high frequency beings who oversee the architecture of universal laws, timelines, and evolutionary pathways across multiple star systems and realms. They are not a common council that most people channel. They tend to make contact only when someone is working at a very high level with timeline repair, frequency, or planetary elevation.
Okay.
Let me see what they do.
Okay.
Do.
Yeah, see what they do, but I'm kind of getting it now.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot with like light body stuff here, and it's obviously like what I do right now. And let me see. Okay, what are you getting?
It's not to make you feel guilty, but had you done this kind of stuff on her,
Oh my God.
like it could have shifted timelines. But it's not your fault. Like, like she's just saying like she's now in a different timeline, right? She's with this council, I think, but she's also validating for you. Nutrition was a big part of it, but you didn't have the whole thing. Like everything you're doing is what like the empiric council does, right? You literally shift timelines when you do your energy work. Like my body's going nuts. And she needed to be shifted into a timeline. You just weren't there yet, So she's saying she's proof. So it's not that like you, or maybe you did do it. I don't know, but maybe we're not in the same timeline as her, but like you need to, she said, don't feel guilty. That's why I said it in the beginning, but she couldn't be in this timeline because this stuff wasn't done with her.
Yeah.
But she might also have just not been open to it. Like, I don't know that someone like going through that is like, hey, let's like, let's get all like spiritual in that way. But I think you did shift her into a different timeline. We're just not in the same timeline as her. So you need to be doing this to heal people, like for people to heal themselves. And I think it's actually just confirmation that what you're doing is actually correct because okay, it's the freaking book. Okay. Yes.
Guys, I have been getting downloads repeatedly about writing a book and it's been coming through nonstop.
Yes. So she is saying this book is going to be the guide to people. And okay. And it's not a coincidence. We talked about shifting timelines and perception. Like that is what your book is going to help people do because they're going to eat well. And you did the eating part with her. And I think that's why she was showing me the food, right? The baking. Did she like baking? Did
Yeah,
she
I
like
think
the stuff that she baked?
she really like, I know she loved my recipes. She was obsessed with the fact that I like had a cookbook, and like she was like amazed by all the stuff
Yeah.
that I was like doing. But we definitely didn't do any frequency work, but I will say that right before she passed, like maybe a few weeks, I had posted something about the Mind movies and Joe Dispenza stuff, and she like had wanted to get into it, and then she like had passed. So like
Mm-hmm.
like she I think was starting to be more open to some of that stuff, but like she just like never got there.
Yeah. Yeah. She's there. Um, and I think she's really grateful. And what she's telling me is this: your book would have been so useful for her, and it's going to be useful for other people. And it's everything about the light body. And I feel like you had like a title for it before, but whatever it was, like, is very, she's giving you confirmation, because I think she, like, once you're up there or wherever you are in a different timeline, you can, I think she actually is an angel, but she's able to talk to these people, and she's giving
Mhm.
you confirmation. She's saying, this is it. This book is going to change the way people experience like the 3D,
Mhm.
right? It's a 5D experience in the 3D.
Wow. Major.
Yeah.
I guess I should write it because
Yeah.
they won't leave me alone about it. So I guess I
Yes.
need to focus on it.
And she's saying, stop holding yourself back from showing that part. Like, when you are working with people in nutrition, if you have anybody else, you need to like bring that in. Let them reject it, but don't hold back from offering it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes
And
sense.
she's not mad or anything. She's just like, this would have been so helpful. I know, she's saying, like, I experience it right now.
Mhm.
So like, I need you to do this.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Everybody, Beth Runoff.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I don't know why she kept saying baker. Like, that was
I don't
so
know. I
weird.
don't know. I don't remember if there was a tie to baking. I mean, when I was working with her, I wasn't doing any of this stuff. That's also like a part of all of that, or I was, but I didn't realize, I was actually having this conversation with somebody, and I kind of want to make this point for everyone to understand, like, no matter what work you're doing, like, you are channeling regardless of what you're doing. And so when I was doing nutrition work, I would be like, oh, like, working with people with chronic illness, and I would be like, there's something going on with you, right? Like, I would be channeling essentially what was wrong with them. I didn't have these tools to be able to help them, but with
Mm-hmm.
cancer patients like her, like, this type of work with the frequency, like, I have a client, we both have a client who we are working with actually together, who we're doing this work with. And I actually met with her on nutrition as well. And she's really the first person that's really getting me,
Integrating.
and integrating all of it. And
Mm-hmm.
that really is like not only the timeline jump, but it's also the DNA activation, it's the cellular healing, it's the frequency
Mm-hmm.
healing, the vibrational healing. Like, I didn't have those tools back then. Now I have them, and like, that's the difference.
Okay, she's saying, okay, bring in your nutrition into what you're doing now. Like, you weren't bringing this into
Mm-hmm.
the nutrition, and you're siloing everything.
Yeah.
So you need to bring it in. Like, you don't have to wait for the book. The book is going to be helpful to like millions of people, billions of people. But when you're actually working someone, don't forget the components, because they all work together. They're
Mm-hmm.
showing me like I don't know how it's three parts of a triangle, but they all come in and like lock together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird. But she's also, do you know what a German baker's chocolate is? Have you ever cooked with it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, like the sign on it, that's what she keeps showing me. And I don't know why. You're going to have to ask your mom. Was this your mom's friend?
Yeah. It was my dad's, actually, funnily enough, my dad's old friend. I think my dad dated her when they were like teenagers. Okay, so like that's how far back the families go. Like really, really far back.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, German baker's chocolate. I gotta look it up.
You got to look at the baker. Like there's something about it. I have no idea what.
Okay, yeah,
But
I'll ask my mom.
she will not stop showing it to me. There's something there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's so interesting. I don't know
It's
if she
so
wants me to do
random.
something with chocolate. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, there's like no sugar in it. Maybe that's
I
what,
don't
I
know.
don't know. But no, she definitely is saying like the nutrition component. It's not only one or the other. It's all, and you have to use all, and you have to stop siloing everything. Like your jewelry has to come into it. Like your like and what are we calling like what you do? Is it still Nebula Soul method?
No, I actually call it quantum energy integration now. And in frequency
Okay.
RX, they actually get everything because they get herbal and they get herbal add-ons and they get
Mm-hmm.
crystal calibration. So they actually that's really the only place
Mm-hmm.
right now where everybody gets everything. Where there's like actual
Mm-hmm.
nutrition, breath, body, like everything
Mm-hmm.
is like really there. Like they really you really get all the stuff.
Okay. You need to do that in person too.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but she's with you and she misses you and she doesn't want you to worry. She's doing well. She's like living a good, I don't know if you call it life in that timeline, but whatever it is. She's she's just like ethereal. That's
Mhm.
like what I see, like this like light pink, like purplish, like it's not a cloud, but it's like a mist almost.
Mm.
But she's just like love, you know?
Mm. Such a vibe. Yeah.
She's a vibe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I mean, I guess we also
You're
succeeded
welcome.
in showing what you do, everyone, and getting that getting that out there. So everyone go see Beth.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that really, really resonates and is really helpful. Yeah. So
Yeah. That was not intentional, but she like would not stop until I like said
yeah.
something. But it felt like a shock went through me when you were talking about it. So she has some connection. It feels like she's the messenger from them.
Hmm.
But you really need to go get that hypnosis and see like what went on there.
Okay. Okay. I
And
will.
it's weird that they said that elevated planet. Like it feels like that's what you were. And if you were Venus, like let's say,
Hmm.
like maybe there's that element of that where we should look when Venus was elevated.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
I wonder if it was like around then.
Yeah. I have to look into
Cuz
that.
they just show you elevated and floating
Okay.
with this like golden like light around you and that mist that like and I'm wondering if the clouds aren't actually a dark cloud. We're just interpreting them over your crown chakra as something bad, but it's not because I keep seeing that like misty cloud kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
And you need to change the light from gray to white. That's what they're saying right now.
Okay.
You need to like switch that. So like sit and meditate and like literally it's like turning on a light.
Okay.
And that is the perception and that's why I saw that post yesterday. You need to shift that perspective because you're there. It's just how you're perceiving the cloud. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Well, I do it for people all the time because I see clouds on people all the time and smoke and
Yeah.
I like lift it for people. So, I mean, I know exactly what to do, but it's like, on yourself, it's so
You
different.
you don't need to lift it. You need to change the color
Mm,
because there's something about it's not a cloud. We just perceive it as a cloud.
mm,
There's something like in that cuz that is the connection to the empiric.
okay.
There's something in it and the fact that you can see clouds, there's something there. You need to
Okay.
explore that a little bit, but it's
Okay.
almost like watching they're showing me you sitting and meditating and watching the cloud above your crown turn from gray to like this beautiful like golden white light.
Mm, okay. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And it's going to change your perception of how you see everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Well then, everyone. I guess we'll end there. Thank you for listening to that. No, that was really, really amazing. And everyone should go see Beth. And like we were, trying to talk about, or we're trying to say last week, we were saying, this is the kind of thing that, we hope that you enjoy. It's a little bit different than a regular episode, but that you see like the real transformation and how this really impacts people and how this is how things really work. So that is really what a session with Beth really looks like. And it was beautiful. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't always come in like lightning fast, but it's almost like the pieces of the puzzle. And I'm like, I don't get it. Why is this here? Why is this there? And then it comes together and you're like, that makes so much sense.
We always get there.
So thank you. Thanks, Josephine. Thanks, Empiric Council.
Yeah.
And
thanks all.
tune in for next episode.
All right. Bye.